All right, welcome back to the 80s Star Basketball Channel. You have a lot of star basketball channels to choose from. Thanks for stopping by. I got to come up with something stupid and fun for that. Welcome back. Today's auction action on a Wednesday. Sometimes for people that are new, and that's one thing I'm seeing. It's kind of cool. I'm getting more messages, like I said, from people who are new. I usually do. Right now, I'm kind of falling into the format of 2 videos a week. I'm doing either Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm doing the auction action, and then on Sunday, I'm putting something out. And it's kind of random, whatever I want to talk about or focus on. Sometimes I do the spotlights where I choose a particular card or a set or something and do it there. But today I've kind of focused on auctions, what's sold, what's upcoming, sometimes analysis, very Jordan focused, because that's kind of what mainly people want to hear about and what I'm actually interested in. Well, I do want to switch it up, and I do want to get around, the Jordan focus on some things, and sometimes I'm going to be doing just sets or, talking about different things. Like last week, I'm going to talk in a little bit today, uncut sheets, just something different. So it's never going to be the exact same, but I'm going to be going over the auctions on what happened and what's upcoming and kind of what's available. And I'm pulling in information from all over the place. So, that's what again, for the new folks, that's what I'm trying to do here. So it's just kind of cool to go through. And I've been doing this now. I started doing the videos, obviously, about, 7 months ago, 6 months ago, a little bit more, but I've been doing this for a full year now, daily kind of thing. So just interesting, kind of like stocks, you start tracking them, and I just kept tracking them, just kind of fun. But so that's what this is. And I just got back from vacation, and my vacation's a little different this year, where I'm doing like little ones, small little, trips for me that aren't far. And got back from Vegas Summer League. And if you've never been there, I highly recommend it. You're just walking around when you're in the arena. There's two, connected, and there's the Cox Pavilion and the Thomas and Mack Center, and that you can see 2 games at the same time. You can just walk in, and both you get very, very close. But when you're walking around, you're actually next to like all the players, agents, scouts, coaches, but so many players, and it is an autograph. Like if you autographs for either you or your kids, there's a lot of kids there because it's just like this. You're just walking next to all these people, and most of them you don't even recognize, but you can obviously tell when everyone is 6'7" to 7 foot. There's a lot of players around you, so it's really cool. Recommend it. So also one thing, I wanted to give a thanks shout out to Dustin. Thank you so much for the video. That was so cool. Dustin, Sports Card Dad is his channel. Obviously, you all know him and more than me, but he's actually just my favorite content creator. I watch a bunch of people, but he's the only one that I actually will watch daily. So he does his stuff. I just like how everything's presented. He's just a common sense person. I've been saying this before he even knew my name. And, he's just how he talks, and, obviously so relatable in that age range for us collecting, but he's not selling you stuff. And, I kind of really like it, but, he's gotten obviously into Star, and he kind of threw some things out. He put up, he gave the channel a shout out, and he showed my video from showing the pop counts, and I thought that was cool. And I did want to mention something because I've just noticed it, and I'm going to talk to it at one point fully, but it's not just his channel either. A lot of people talking about pumping cards, and people saying, oh, you're trying to pump the Star. And I've been, they said the same thing to me in my comments when I was doing this earlier. I got a lot of that. You're just trying to pump it up for value. And I understand why people are skeptical, because there is that in the hobby. However, you need to be able to be, recognize, and I want to say smart enough, but because sometimes you never know, but you really have to recognize when some people are just talking about cards with passion, and you never know if a card's going to go up or down, just like stocks. But anyway, you can talk about your interest, and if the intent is to just inform, saying I'm getting this is what I'm into, that's not pumping. There's a difference between me coming in and saying like uncut sheets, I've gotten into that because I found value and I found scarcity. And it's one of those things like the 101, I went, I better get these because I like them and I love the display. They're functional and all that. And I'll talk to those in a minute over here in the ending heritage auction. But just something really quick that I wanted to mention, that things that I'm into, or the thing when Dustin's talking about cards, you got to really kind of look out for obviously the people that are trying to pump. But one thing I've seen with him is I think he just generally, just like me, has an interest with all this stuff. And so again, thanks Dustin, I appreciate the shout out, and that's really cool to see. So after that, I did want to also, a little quick note, PWCC is now Fanatics Collect. I know most of you already know that, but I did want to say that when I'm starting to look at things. So the first thing, let's jump into these auctions. I'm done with all my yapping. This heritage auction was the one I was really tracking. I was really into, and I did want to show the results. So this bottom, when you're looking at these results of the ending ones, this is with the buyer's premium. So when you can see, the ending price. And this was an 84 bag set. I was really watching this, and I thought this went low. And this went for 6,000. One of the things was the Pistons bag was actually opened, so that was something to note in it. So you have to go out, and if you want the complete bag set, you got to do a little legwork and get yourself a Pistons bag. And so the one that I think everyone was really watching after was this PSA 7 101 for 37,000. This did go a little bit lower than I expected, but it still is still trickling up. I don't go by the 50,000 PWCC one that was with the sticker. So I think that this is a more normal auction. I think it might have been affected by the national. Actually, it was affected by the national kind of upcoming. I kind of thought this was odd. I wouldn't be selling cards right now before the national, but some people are putting them out there. People are gearing up and trying to save some money and trying to go in there with some cash. And this is not really a good time to sell. But if you're trying to raise cash, obviously it's that's what I think is happening here. But that probably impacted the price, and that's what I'm thinking. But anyway, 37 still trajectory up. Same thing with the 195 and the 288s. This PSA 6 is a noticeable jump. And I did want to point out that I have seen the pops rising. I'm going to be doing something for as far as pop count for the 195 and the 288 compared to what I had earlier this year. But the 288 still the strongest. Again, back to my recommendations on what I was buying and saying earlier in the year is base set Jordans, 84. And that includes, but with one exception, is the CK26. I actually think that is kind of, it doesn't fall into that category because it's not a base set, but it's a unique card. It's the Court Kings 26 5x7 right here that's pictured. So it's just a phenomenal card. But anyway, these are ones that I've been really tracking. I was saying I was recommending to get into these, and they really have seen the biggest price increases simply for their categorization and what they are. And let's take a look as we kind of go down. But one thing I did notice, and I will mention as I show in the 130 point, these are still going. The 195 is still a little bit slower. This one obviously ended at 5,000, which is the 288, which is really noticeable. The 195 is trickling up slower than the 288. This one sold for 4,000. I thought this was a pretty good deal for the trifecta of the Interlake, the Interlake, and the CB1 and the Court Kings. Those were all pretty low grades at a 5 and a 4 and a 4. But it was really just a cool pickup for display. The CB1 is kind of just has never gotten much love either. I think, the photo kind of thing that isn't the best, but it's definitely still, obviously a really sought after card because it's part of that, the Jordan Star run. But so moving on to some of the subset cards, we had a 6 for the all rookie team, sell for about 1,400. And this is where things got a little interesting for these uncut sheets. I was surprised. This sheet had a just still really cool, and I for what it's going to be or where I think. Someone did ask me, "What's your criteria for valuing an uncut sheet?" And I have a really horrible answer: is I don't know. You can look at it as far as like what are the value of the cards, their highest gem at 10, add them together, but that's really flawed and not a good way to do it. There's no good answer for how what I determine them at, and kind of looking at the sheet almost as a whole card. But some people don't. There's people out there who are going to get it, and there will be people that cut sheets. That's gonna happen. So they can get the value. You can actually extract a lot of value from these things. Again, I kind of don't like talking about it because, again, I won't come across like I'm pumping uncut sheets, but I've really found them kind of just this place that this newfound coolness factor, kind of going in, especially for like an office display. But they're very, very rare. So anyway, I've been tracking those. But that came actually to the price. I got my uncut sheet for 2,300. This went for a little over with the crease on the Jordan. I pointed that out in the last auction. But so it kind of maybe fair. I not totally sure. It's going to be interesting to watch those. And the super went for 990. I'm gonna kind of move along for speed's sake. 6,300 for a PSA 8 Jordan. That's what I'm seeing. This they've kind of just been absolutely stuck in this range. Some a little higher, but kind of I want to say a slight, especially on the BGS side, some pressure to the downside. But they just kind of stay there in this range for an 8 going for low 6K range. I did watch this. I never know if I can trust these auctions, but the Gem Mint 10 sold for almost 200,000 with the BP, and under 200K, but they have that huge talk that there's certain people that will keep this, and the low population and people that own a bunch can very much keep this price, and where it's at. And that is one thing I always think about this card, but I do watch it, and I don't know if that's the case. I don't know. I've seen this fluctuate from 160, even ones that are going, I think 168,000 was the last one. But anyone, go in the comments and let me know if you know what some of those prices are for Gem Mint 10s. But anyway, I'm going to come and jump down. You can see some of the prices: Court Kings and PSA 8s for 1,700. A PSA 5 of the 195 sold for 2,100. These two sheets were what I'm looking at. I kind of gave up really quick. I saw that this was going to go further because I already have one that I wanted to get into. But this sold for 1,500 on the uncut sheet for them, or I'm sorry, not 1,500. That's what I bid. Almost 3,700 for this Mavericks sheet, and I really like this. I think this is so cool. It's got just everything on it. The short printed. These are the short printed sets. I talked about it last time. Kind of the coolness factor of it. And I actually didn't get this one. I wanted to see more where it went. That's why I bid this low. I kind of stopped early because I saw this was going to go higher too as well. And I ended up, it went for 2,000, a little more than 2,000. And I actually jumped and picked that one up on eBay. I bought two sheets. I bought this one and the other, and I'll kind of go over and look at those really quick. So for anything that has sold, let's finish up this really quick. I'm kind of looking at everything. Everything is thinning out. The same exact stuff that I've been talking about. I am just seeing things, the 101 has, other than this Heritage one for 37,000, I'm really noticing auctions are thinning up. And I kind of went across, I was just checking out, these 288s and what things are selling for and how many auctions there are. And volume has dropped. they've kind of not sold much before. I think really quick again. This you're now seeing that the sixes and sevens trickle up. Those auctions have been here, for 4,500, 5,000, and different auction houses and just grade range. You've got to look for eye appeal. Remember, these cards are extremely condition sensitive, so you got to check out everything when you're looking at the card. Just don't go by the auction and say, oh, a six is now 4,400. You can't. They're all so different. You've got to look at the card. So this isn't like, again, this isn't a Wemby PSA 9 where you look at another Wemby PSA 9 and it's that'll look the exact same. These cards have pretty major differences, and you got to really look at the condition. Again, 195s I have been, slowly trickling up. The 288 is going up faster, and that's noticeable. I did notice that these CK26s more are coming up for auction. These are a little more available, and they're not. The price went up some for sure, but they've kind of stalled out. So that's my assessment as of right now. These kind of got a bump, and they're not going far. The 117, as far as the second year Jordan card for the 85, again, I like this card. And it's for the first time, it's going up a hair, still not much, because if you look at the cards like this PSA 9, you would say, oh, that's a huge jump. I looked at it. It's got really high subs. So this one, again, you have to look at the card when you're judging prices and comps. And 9.5 centering in corners, it just had extremely solid subs. So this was actually probably a good 33% increase, but the subs were really high, so it was warranted. But the BGS 7 for selling for 2,000, but this was a little bit ago, but that's noticeable that this is a price increase. So 117s are going up a little, and it's certainly to note. So again, those are kind of some sold prices, and I'll look at eBay really quick to see if there was anything other than the uncut sheets. You had a 195 here. You got this 8.5 last 11 rookie of the year. 8.5 sell for 25.13. Here's the two sheets that I picked up and got. But sorry, to jump back to the last 11 rookie of the years. There was one that sold. See if I find it really here. Someone posted in. I did not see it. It was for 4,700 for a 9, which seemed high to me. So that seemed pretty high. So I didn't even know if I wanted to mention it, but I wanted to throw that out there. Something I saw. Anyone can comment on this. I would appreciate it. Kind of saying what's going on. All right, so let's look at what is upcoming. And I did want to say for the 101s, this is a noticeable, huge thing. I was even going to put something out on earlier, but this 13 now minus. So this, I use alt generally for, again, my search results. And I've been watching this because it pulls in a couple, different marketplaces and pulls in the data. So you get good search results. But I wanted to talk about, and I've always been saying, like, I've been watching really over the last probably 4 months and noticing that these results are just going down and down and down and down. Wow, it's really falling. I've now hit single digits for the first time on my 101 search results because it's these 13, but because it has, it pulls in some of these tops refractors or other things. There's 4 of them. This is now minus those. This is actually at 9. I went in, which isn't the full like bags. If I go over to eBay and I do the search results, if you take them all out, there's currently with bags and everything, but you're talking most are over 100,000 now. But there are 17 items that are actually 101. That's either a bag or, just the card itself. And that is, I've never seen anything this low. So again, it's just dropping and dropping and dropping as far as inventory. And the auctions, the alt one, and I want to say thank you to a Caleb Finnegan who did point out that when you come into these search results, and I think it's over here, And I talked about the white backgrounds before. You can actually come up here. So if you come up and you click on these two lines right here, and then you click on this little sun or half moon, you can come in here and change your background, which will help highlight. If they have a transparent background and it's all white, it can kind of highlight and help see, what is behind it, and you can see the corner damage and stuff. So highlight that. So again, thanks, Gleb. I really appreciate you pointing that out, and it was rather helpful in terms of kind of looking at these. But this ends in tomorrow night. So Thursday night, this alt PSA 6 will 101 will end. So go check that out. I did notice that. So I talked about the ones that are falling and everything has been going down a little. The one that has been going up, it looks like people are switching from eBay now to Fanatics, even though it says PWCC. What would now be Fanatics Collect. These are going over, and did notice that PWCC trickles up by like one. So it's almost like there was a migration, over here. So I definitely noticed what's kind of happening with that. Also, an upcoming Goldin auction. There's a raw, and it does say in the comments, and I'll go and look over in this, Goldin right here. Read the description because it's raw with creases and whatnot. So this isn't going to be something you're going to want to track a price to. But if you're looking for a low cost 84 set, Goldin right now has one up for 9,000 with buyer's premium. You got to look at the small one, not 7,500. 9,150 for a low grade 84 set. So that might be very cool for some of you folks to go and check out. Also, I did notice there's a 9.5 on Goldin, an 86 FLEER set, and I thought this is going to be interesting to watch and track for whatever this is going to end up. It's at 41,000 now, so my eyes are looking at this guy. It'd be really interesting to see where it ends up. Also, check out Goldin for some of the auctions. Just interesting things like this, where you have an autographed CB1 5x7. CB stands for Chicago Bulls. It's just team. And this is Jordan's like 5x7 team, the only one they did for like a team of Jordan. So kind of cool. The autograph. They also have a few other star items in there as well. So those are some of the things that I'm seeing on alt. Again, low pop of how many are in there. eBay has now fallen to the lowest I've ever seen. And it looks like some of them just kind of migrated over PWCC. Check that out. Also, my assistant or my boss, I still can't tell which one he is. Thanks, Kevin. He throws out, this guy's awesome. Kevin Tichy, he throws out things. He puts together graphs and whatnot, but he throws out auctions that are upcoming. He really watches the 101 kind of like I do, but he seems to have a better eye for finding certain things. Did want to throw that Robert Edwards summer auction. He noticed this, and it has some lower kind of some surface issue print spots. So take a peek at that. But a pretty cool 8.5 thin top. Obviously kind of thin everywhere here, and take a peek at it. But kind of noticeable and or a notable auction and pretty cool. And then also this one is SCP auction. Look at this. This one's really unique. A lot of surface stuff. Again, kind of printing issue. I haven't seen this much printing issue, but I've never seen one centered like this. Like this one pops my eye. Kind of like this is a full sized, and it's just like, look at that. I've never seen one with the border here on your right, the left on Jordan here is actually maybe a hair bigger than this, and I've never even seen that. So this is a very, very unique card, but obviously there's a little tiny spots of white here and there and the surface issues and corners. But for someone who's looking in to get a centered one, in my opinion, I have not seen one this nice. So this is really, really cool. So anyway, I know I took some time on this one, and but I had a lot to cover coming back and a lot to talk about. So I just wanted to point out, just a bunch of auctions going on, lots ended, and go and take a look, and I like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you at the next video.